Welcome to the very first episode of my podcast called Livin Loud or Small Talk, where we'll be speaking on topics, events, and happening in Guyana. In this episode, we'll be talking about music production in Guyana. Music production is the process of developing, creating, and refining recorded music for public presentation. We have with us here today an amazing young man who goes by the name Lenclan, also known as Hananiyah warde. He is among the masters in photography. Please tell us about yourself.
Yo, what's up? Livin Loud or Small Talk. I'm happy to be in the program, the first ever podcast.
Yes, podcast.
And but basically, when I heard about the production that you want to bring forth, I was so happy to be a part of it because you're definitely dealing with music. It's not all about audio and song, but it's also about visuals.
Yes.
So, being into the art of photography and a little bit of videography, I thought it would be very important to let the masses know and those who are interested, not only in music, but also in having their music recorded in video format. Photography also plays a big role in distribution, marketing, and so forth. So I'm happy to be on the program. What do you have for me? Whatever insights you can give, I'm happy to share.
Well, we are here today to speak on the topic music production in Guyana, and we'd like to get your view on music production.
Wow. Well, I can say, first of all, big up to all of the artists that are now coming up. Notably, we got Stevie Stiff, who's in the Guyana Defense Force. We got Mafi out of Linden. We got some other artists, Azariel, the Tin Boss.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are some of the guys that are really putting Guyanese music on another level. I've been listening to music for a number of years. I was born and raised in Linden. I came to Berbice just over 15 years. And music in Berbice, we've been trying for years to come out of Berbice and bring something to Guyana, not only for Berbicians, but for Guyanese, home and abroad, for Caribbean people, for the world. Something that they can listen and that's something that is pleasant, something that they can grasp from and get a taste of that Guyanese culture. So, photography, I myself am a musician. I play guitar, I play keyboard, I play drums. Drums is my first love. But I took up photography because to me it was far more easier. And I still get to tell my story. I love capturing live shows, the concerts and so forth. And see musicians express themselves. Right now in Guyana, the music fraternity is growing. It has taken off to higher heights, especially during the pandemic, during 2020, when it all started, the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of artists found their talent, found their niche, took time in that quarantine period when they were inside.
They took time
and just mastered their crafts. And I'm happy to see they're now emerging from the woodworks and they're doing well in their craft. They're doing so well. So right now I say some of the notable guys that I hear on the radios ever so often. But we got a very young Samuel Medas. I can't leave Samuel Medas out. Just a few days ago, he dropped a new song called Stadium. I don't know if you've heard it already, but it's a bang. It's a 2020 soca hit. I heard he's going up for the Soca Monarch. Wish him all the best.
Well,
but Guyanese music is taking off. We've always been there, but I believe our problem lied in one, marketing and audio engineering to have that kind of quality that I would call an international standard. The talent is here. Guyana, we have the talent in Guyana. Guyanese are very talented, not only in music, but in every sphere of the art form you can think about. Guyanese have the talent, but it's just that we need to work on our marketing to have that international sound, that international standard. So when you hear a Rihanna or a Jay-Z or a Beyonce song, we got people here who are on that level.
Yeah.
But you must understand, when you come under management like Sony and these big time corporations, people spend millions of dollars on equipment, on sound, on production. So you're not going to just turn up at any bottom house studio and want that $1 million sound.
Yes, it's level to grow.
It's levels to grow, indeed. So that brings me to another point, investment.
Yes, if you don't put in $1,000 at the end of the day, you won't get $1,000. You gotta put in a little and then make it turn over to get
Correct.
more.
Correct. So talent can take you this far, but investment. Somebody has to see that talent and invest in it. If you yourself cannot invest in your own self, somebody has to be prepared to invest in you. Probably a businessman, businesswoman, or through the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports. Something has to be done to help Guyanese and help aspiring musicians own their craft.
Yeah.
So that's about it for me.
So there's a few points we need to touch on this music production, right? Music production basically falls into like 6 categories. You mentioned a few of them. We have songwriting, arranging, tracking, editing, mixing and mastering. Now there's some person that know how to write a song and songwriting basis and so forth. What do you have to say about that?
Wow. Well, it would depend for me. As I said, Guyanese are very talented. And we're not only talented in soca or dancehall, but Guyanese are singing R&B. They're singing even some jazz.
Yes.
I think Jackie Jack's very good, very talented artist. She's very jazzy in her approach. She has that soul type of vibe, that R&B. And I said, jazzy as well. So songwriting would depend on what the artist wants to tell, what story the artist wants to tell,
The message they're trying to put
message
over.
the artist wants to put over.
Yeah.
So you can sing a song about virtually anything, sing a song about the pandemic, sing a song about politics. It all depends on what genre of music you're going to tell that song through.
Yeah.
That will determine the sound and the songwriting style. For example, you know Calypso is all about, it's Guyanese thing. Calypso is we thing.
Yes, it's
Calypso is all about storytelling. So that kind of punchline and vibe that Calypso brings will influence songwriting. The bars, how Calypso, as I said, how the Calypso track is arranged, that will really and truly assist or project the artist's songwriting abilities. You don't know that dancehall is more of an attacking, get more attacking beats. It's more like punch in your face. So for dancehall music, the songwriting again vary.
Yeah.
You know, soul music or R&B, for the most extent, R&B would come from a place of most time heartbreak,
Yeah.
a sensual or sexual tone. So again, the songwriting or the songwriter would have to be in that frame of mind. You understand? So
It all expresses the mood the artist is trying to put over.
definitely is what I'm trying to say. Definitely. Arranging, I can't say much. I'm not a master in music. I see myself as being better at photography than I am with music, but I listen to a lot of music. When it comes to as I said, we talked about songwriting, arranging. That has to do with not only the artist, because we have a lot of musicians that can arrange because they're musicians, but they're not singers. But they listen to singers all the time. So it's very important that not only singers, but musicians and players of instruments learn from each other. So if you're a songwriter, in America, in hip-hop music, we have a lot of writers that are not singers.
Like they'll be called ghostwriters. You would hear the song or whatever they would write, but you wouldn't know it coming from them.
Definitely.
So that will be relating to that.
Very well, very well.
Now, music production offers a variety of jobs. Those being video and song engineer, where that would fall under your lines. Recording engineers, music directors, music teacher, DJs, music journalists, and music agents.
Oh, well, I've heard of those jobs. I don't know for sure right now if we have in Guyana music journalists.
I'm not sure about that.
I heard of well, we got a lot of DJs. You know,
Yes,
my
quite a
personal
few.
favorite. You know, Magnum, Armageddon, Clash, Bass. So definitely, you know, but we got some great studios. And I believe the studios are more or less sometimes manages the artists.
Yeah.
So we got Cross Colors, we got Brutal Chucks Recording, we got AJ recordings, we got IQ, we have Comfort Zone. I think that's Samuel's Chamamadas' recording studio. But I know he used to recording the rest with this guy Vijay. He probably still does. Vijay is a very good producer. So out of Barbies, I'm not sure. But let me tell you this. As I said, I've been around Barbies for like 15 years. Talent is here. People are already in place just waiting for that opportunity to hone their craft, produce their craft, and put it out there for public consumption.
The first step need to be made by those persons to come out and show themselves or showcase what they have.
But what we've been working on, you see, 2020 put a damper on the plans we've had. We've had plans to have persons come out at an open mic night, something like a karaoke.
Yeah.
But not really where we singing people's songs back. Where we coming up with our own songs and presenting it. Listen, kind of like demo. People bring in your demo.
Yeah.
If they're coming to sing their demo live or they have it already pre-recorded, let's hear it. So at those little forums where you're gonna have music agents, persons who are ready to say, I like that young man there, or I like that young woman there. She has
Work
talent.
with him.
We can work with her, or we can work with him, or we can work with them if it's a duo or trio, or
Yeah.
you know. So definitely, I believe these jobs. You see, the thing is with Guyanese music and the Guyanese people is that these jobs don't really pay. That's what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
They don't really pay. But as I said, persons are ready to show what they have, but they don't want to show it if they're not gonna get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to veer off topic much, but it's like football. I'm from Linden, the house of Kashif and Shanghai, and we've seen many players come up, very good soccer players, but after a certain time, Kashif is just once a year. Throughout the year, they don't get to play, they don't get to make money. They just eventually find regular jobs that occupy most of their time, and when they get to a certain age, they take a family life. And eventually, football, that's it. They can't make a living off of football.
Yes. That funding that generates from music or as you said, football isn't that attractive, I should say.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I have hope. One of my personal icons in music, Mr. Eddie Grant. That's one of the notable Guyanese who have made it in music. I remember watching a concert on YouTube some years ago with Eddie Grant in South Africa.
Yes.
Give Me Hope, Joanna. That song, I'm talking about over 20,000 people
In concert live.
in concert live, and that's our very own on stage, shelling the place. And I was amazed, like, wow, it's one of us.
Yes.
So, I know Pleasant's proud, Guyana is proud. So for me, we can make it. We just need to own our craft. Yeah, for me, we can make it. We just need to own our craft and have the necessary investment. Before Eddie Grant really made it in music, he traveled.
Yes.
He had a startup. And that's a man that is dedicated to his craft. He not only sings, but he plays an instrument too. So I was saying earlier that we need to learn from each other. Not because you're a singer, you don't understand what the audio engineer is doing. You need to know what song you want. And if you listen, but all of us at some point have listened to all the music. For most musicians in Guyana, you ask them, how did you come to this? They tell you about Bob Marley, they tell you about Peter Tosh, they tell you about some great reggae icons.
Yes.
That are accomplished in their music and in their craft. So having that person to emulate sets the bar. You hear the bass line in the song, you hear the instruments, you hear all that thing.
You hear the drums hitting and the hi-hats. Everything.
Exactly. So that creates in your mind a standard of where you want the music to be and what you want it to sound like.
Yeah, like something similar or replicated.
Correct. But to achieve that, it takes some amount of skill, knowledge, dedication, and obviously, as I said, investment. You can't want
You gotta
use
learn.
some
Practice.
Casio, no disrespect to Casio, the brand, because there's some very high level Casio keyboards. But in my days, we had these little $25,000 keyboard that we use at church. Casio was the brand,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But you can't have a $20,000 Casio and want that Russ Riley song or that, you know what I mean? So definitely the investment must be there. You can't let out the investment. That has to be a part of your plan if you want to become an artist. So I'm calling out on the studios that are available, that are making good music and producing quality music, to give the youth them a break. Because of course, it's an investment for them. That's how they build their studio. And they're expecting that when artists come, that they pay their dues or recording time. So, but at Guyana's start-up stage, I believe that is where these studios can play their role in giving service back to their country. Now everything is money. We're gonna get to the money stage.
Like I remember on the last interview with DJ Khaled, he said at first when he started producing artists, he didn't really do it for the money that much. He do it for the recognition, and after the recognition came, everybody keep going to him for new music, and then after then the money came. So he went to the recognition first, then you get the money.
Great. And as I mentioned, you know, so first of all, in case you didn't know, I'm a soldier. So our motto is service. So I believe in service to the nation. So as I'm saying, for the studio, person that owns studio like Brutal Tracks Recording, Cross Color Studios, they have been putting in their work. But I believe at this point, and what is just something to note, have you noticed that a lot of talent comes from the ghetto? Comes from impoverished areas?
Because those persons went through some sort of trial or hardship to be able to tell a story or something from it.
Because of the ghetto where they came from, a lot of these talented people don't have the startup capital. Don't have money to go to the best schools, for example, or have the best jobs, or in music case, can't afford to go to the best studios
For a session time,
for a session time. So you find them, if they have a little smartphone, they're trying to record on the phone, they're trying to play a song on a little stereo and do a recording. And sometimes it happens all the time in Jamaica. You remember Gully Bop?
Yeah.
Everybody know Gully Bop. Gully Bop was a vagrant on the street, but with talent. And somebody probably passed by, heard him sing, recorded it. It touched Facebook, touched YouTube, went viral. Right there and then, a studio saw and said, yo, this could be a hit. We can work with him. They went, whichever parish he was from, they found him, took him to the studio, cleaned him up, and there it is, Gully Bop on Sumfest. Big stage, over 60,000 Jamaicans are there, and foreign nationals who are in the country. Gully Bop gone to the world. Big show, and he's on that show, and his life just turned around completely.
But I'll take the first step in the investment that he said.
No, as we are on this same topic of emerging talents and studios giving service back to the nation, I want to shout out GTNT. Big up GTNT, big up. Big up GTNT because I remember the GTNT Jingle and Song Competition as one of the first competitions that everybody tuned in to watch. And if you are an emerging artist and you vied for the champion on the jingle, then Guyana saw you. Anybody who has a TV, we're tuned in every week to see step by step, stage by stage, the artists going through the paces. And even if you didn't win, just featuring on the GTNT Jingle and Song Competition, persons would have known you.
You got that recognition.
Correct, the recognition. So right there and then, I believe, well, I had some favorites. I remember this one guy a year, Ashton Warren. He was one of the guys, very talented guy. He didn't win. He was not even in the. I don't believe he was in the top 3 at the end of the competition. But he was good. There can only be one win. What becomes of the other artists? Let's say we have 50 persons that vied to become the champion. or to become that number one person. Let's just say, take shame out my eye. Let's just say at least, I won't call it a fair number, at least 15 of them were not that talented. So we have the remainder who are reasonably talented. At least I believe talented than some people we are hearing now that are trending on social media. And in my view, I have no idea about arranging, composing, mastering, mixing, nothing of the sort. Come on, but because it's a gimmick thing, because it's a joke and it's just viral, and Guyanese are consuming that type of thing. I have a problem with that.
Yes, they're giving the wrong attention to something that should be labeled otherwise.
Correct. So, where we are right now in music, we're at baby stage. But I believe we are big babies. I say big babies because it's not today Guyanese have talent. It's not
They've
yesterday.
been around all the time.
All the time. So we are too old of a nation. We are in the, if you look at it, we're in the heart of where all the great music. If you go to Brazil, just next door, we got Zouk across there. If you go up the quarantine, you listen to these Suriname channels, you would know that Suriname is doing great things with music. Venezuela, where you don't know the reggaeton thing, is big. So, well, I can't leave out the Caribbean because we are part of CARICOM. We are part of the Caribbean, and most of our music that we consume comes from the Caribbean. Our neighbor Trinidad, Barbados music. We got, for the biggest part, Jamaica. So, Guyana being amongst all of that talent, it is time we emerge and let our song be out there. We must be amongst that music that is coming from the Caribbean. So now when Americans, not only Guyanese Americans, but just any American say, let me listen to some Caribbean music, and they type in, boom, Azariel on the track, boom, Drew Tobin on the track, Guyanese music, and it's like, yeah, I liking this. I don't know Quavo personally, I don't know Lil Wayne personally, but these are guys we all listen to for hip-hop music. We want to listen to some rap music, we type in somebody else from America or something. It is time that we change that as Guyanese and have that Guyanese sound. So that's what we're working towards.
Yes. Well, there are some studios that who is interested or confident enough in voicing their songs or so. They're like Brutal Tracks, Cross Color Records, AJ Records.
Yeah.
And some songs by Brutal Tracks are Lil King, Friend Zone and Family. We have Cross Color putting out Vanilla, Celebrate, Lisa Banton, Black Skin, and AJ Records producing the most person we know, Azariel with Tint, Man is Dark, COVID-19. And a track a few weeks ago, I think, is Steve putting out one called Courts.
Wow, I haven't heard that one yet.
Well, it's ear candy. It's very good to listen.
Very well. Well, I'm said this is a good start. I want to wish you all the best on your podcast and your future productions. Not only in your beat making and your music production, but in bringing to Guyana or to Guyanese, the yard and abroad, and the diaspora, what's happening in our music fraternity through your podcast. So I really appreciate coming through as a photographer and videographer. I really appreciate being here and sharing some insights and just having a chat, basically. This is just raw and just having a chat. I really appreciate it.
Well, glad to have you here, and we look forward to doing another episode with you again. That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do here, like, share, and leave a review at our YouTube channel. That's all for this episode, but I will see you in the next one. share, and leave it.
And
Alright.
it came from right there. I'll tell
That's
you.
all.
Bike passing. Alright. No.
Like, subscribe.
Battery low, you go play it cut off.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do here, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a review over the
Over to what you want to say?
over the YouTube channel.
What's get bye? Tell us man can say bye. Alright, well I know.
Like, share, subscribe.
Let's get it. No.
That's all for this episode.
What story is this? There's problems like
Good. Get to this time. That's all for this episode. Thanks for.
I'm so excited, boy.
No, I'm mixing up more words them on the line.
Just take your time, but just breathe, but just be cool. Battery low.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do here, like, share, and leave a review at our YouTube channel. That's all for this episode, but I will see you in the next one.